Raheem Mostert was one of the best stories of the 2019 NFL season. A former undrafted free agent in 2015 that was picked up by 7 different teams. To realize how crazy his journey was, let's go over all of his transactions during his NFL career. In 2015, he was an undrafted free agent signed by the Eagles. He led the NFL in yards from scrimmage in the 2015 preseason, but was cut before the season started. In 2015 as well, he signed with the Miami Dolphins 10 days later. He returned some kicks but was released a month later. Also in 2015, the next day, he was signed by the Ravens to replace the injured Lorenzo Taliaferro, but was cut about a month later. Also in 2015, he was signed off waivers by the Cleveland Browns to be a kick returner but was waived in the offseason. In 2016's preseason, he was picked up to be on the Jets practice squad but was released 6 days later. Also in 2016, he was signed by the Bears but released a couple months later. And finally, in 2016, on November 28, 2016, Mostert finally found a stable home with the San Francisco 49ers. In 2017, he was placed on IR in November, but only had 6 carries the entire season. In 2018 was the first time he was actually given decent playing time during the regular season, and had a stretch where he averaged over 7 yards per carry on 34 rushing attempts. He would fracture his forearm in Week 9 against the Raiders and was out the rest of the season. In 2019's offseason, Mostert signed a 3-year extension for $8.7 million with the 49ers. With Jerick McKinnon out for a full season and Matt Breida missing a few games during the regular season, it was Mostert who stepped up in a big way. In 2019, he totaled 772 rushing yards on 137 rushing attempts and 10 total touchdowns. Well, that was quite the journey, and it took until his age 27 season to do so, but better late than never. Recently, it was reported that Mostert has requested a trade from the 49ers because they couldn't come to an agreement on a more lucrative contract. His current contract has him making a little over $5 million combined over the next 2 seasons. On the 49ers roster, he is the 4th highest paid running back if you include Kyle Juszczyk as one. He is slated to make less than Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, and Juszczyk, and for someone that basically carried that offense to a Super Bowl, he has every right to believe he deserves more. The Niners currently have a little over $12 million in cap space, and if they were to cut Jerick McKinnon before the season, that number could be closer to $15 million. Mostert and McKinnon are the same age, but McKinnon hasn't appeared in an NFL game since 2017 due to preseason injuries. The choice should be obvious who to keep, but the Niners have a lot of money tied into Tevin Coleman, and let's not forget about Kyle Juszczyk as well. For the general manager John Lynch, he may look at Mostert as an expendable piece to their team. Now time to acknowledge the title of the video. Why do I believe Raheem Mostert requesting a trade is a bad idea? Reason number 1, you're in a perfect situation. The Niners' offensive scheme with Kyle Shanahan, solid run blockers, and dangerous receivers make the running back's job one of the easiest in the league as compared to other teams. If you don't believe me, then maybe it'll stand out that Raheem Mostert led all running backs in yards gained before contact in 2019, just trailing Lamar Jackson, and obviously that stat is much easier for a quarterback to achieve. His teammate Tevin Coleman was also in the top 10 in the NFL in this category, proving that the San Francisco 49ers offense is a running back heaven. I can confidently say that if Mostert was traded to about 95% of the other teams in the league, his situation would not be nearly as good as it is now. Not to say he won't have success, but the Niners system for running backs will max out his potential. Reason number 2, where is the loyalty? Normally I wouldn't use this as an argument because GMs and organizations screw over players all the time, just look at Cam Newton, but for a player that's been on 7 different teams in 5 seasons, you think he wants to remain loyal to an organization that's remained loyal to him. They could have easily cut Mostert in 2017 after he went on injured reserve, but they kept him because they clearly liked him as a player. They even signed him to a 3-year extension in 2019 when he basically missed half of the season prior with a forearm fracture. I understand the guy wants more money, but they've done good by Mostert since 2016 and have remained loyal to him when other teams have clearly not. My thinking is that if he plays well over the next 2 seasons, which he should with this talented offense, then the money will come eventually. Reason number 3, the grass ain't always greener. You know what's fun? Winning and being a part of a good organization. Do you think guys that chased the money and went to clearly worse teams and situations have a little regret right now? How about a guy like Le'Veon Bell who went from All-Pros to Pro Bowls, the NFL Top 100 list, to playoff appearances, to barely averaging over 3 yards per carry on a bad team?
We got a whole lot of new money though.
Or what about the guys that are insanely talented like Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon but struggle to put up consistent numbers because they face 8+ men in the box and have below average offensive line play? Sure, it's one thing to chase the money, but wouldn't you rather be successful as an individual and see your team win at the same time? If Mostert were to get traded to a hypothetical team, let's just say the Dolphins in this case, then do you really think he'd still be the top running back in the league in yards before contact? He'd probably be bottom 10 in the league by that point and have a chance to fade out of the league and have a chance to be cut before earning all of that next contract. Sometimes it's better to bet on yourself when you're in the perfect situation like Mostert is. I say play it out, let the numbers do the talking during your next negotiations. That'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and share for other videos surrounding the MLB, NFL, and NBA. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.